Hey guys, here to do a video for the Star Wars The Clone Wars. Here's my Star Wars video for May the 4th be with you. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be talking about Star Wars The Clone Wars. The series slash movie, but mainly the series, but it's all connected. So, yeah. Um, so here's my take on this series. I've been wanting to post this up for a while, and I think this is the perfect opportunity. This might be a little bit longer of a video because I really want to take time to talk about it and my feelings on it and how, it works in the Star Wars universe. Um, I'm just going to say right off the bat, for those of you that maybe don't want to watch the whole thing and just kind of want to know my take, here's the short version, I guess I can say. I love the series. I love the Clone Wars. Um, there are episodes that I don't like, but as a grand thing, I love it. I think it is absolutely fantastic. And so that's kind of the short version of what I'll say. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check out the Clone Wars. Um, but make sure you watch it chronologically. You can actually search on Google for a list that will actually tell you um, what order to watch the whole series, and it's even up on StarWars.com. I think it is. I think that's where I found it at. So you definitely got to watch it chronologically because the episodes are not in order when you watch it season to season. So that's the short version. For the rest of you, here's the longer version. Um, First off, let me talk about the movie, because the movie came out, I think, before the series did. And a lot of people hated it. And I remember from the minute it came out in theaters that everyone was so excited for it because not only was it Star Wars, but it was an animated movie, and that was new at the time. And, so it got all these really, really bad reviews, and even not just critically, but from, just normal people, the movie going audience. Like, not a lot of people really, really liked this movie. And so I didn't rush out to go see it until actually last year, before The Force Awakens happened. I decided to go through the whole series, but I also decided to go through like the whole Star Wars universe. And so I watched episode 1, I watched episode 2, and then I went through the Clone Wars, and I went through it chronologically. So this is, let me say this. My favorite thing about the series is Ahsoka Tano. My absolutely favorite thing is Ashley Eckstein's, I always forget how you pronounce her last name, but her performance as Ahsoka makes the series for me. It makes the movie so well done because she's the person that I am the most attached to. That doesn't mean that there's other things that I don't like. I mean, obviously James Arnold Taylor just knocks it out of the park as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Plo Koon and the other characters that he lends voice to, but especially Obi-Wan. I love James Arnold Taylor. But again, for me, it's Ashley. It's all about her and Ahsoka, because I honestly feel like if you don't connect with her, the rest of it doesn't really matter. Matt Lantner is great as Anakin. Just blows it out of the park. I actually wish that there was a way that he could have maybe played Anakin in the movies, because, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I love the Clone Wars. The last few seasons of the show I liked more than the first handful. And of course, remember, I'm speaking story-wise, not specific season to season. That's why I'm not saying season 1, 2, or 3. I'm not giving it names because I didn't watch it, as they were released to the public. I watched it story-wise, so I can't really say what I like. Of course, I can say I think it was the next to the last season was All in Order. And so that I can say was a fantastic season. And I think my favorite episodes out of the whole thing were the more Ahsoka driven episodes. The last 2 episodes of the series before the final episodes where Ahsoka is kind of on the run and all that. Which I'm not going to tell you why because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't watched it. But those of you that have will know what I'm talking about. But Ahsoka's on the run for something, and those episodes were amazing. Those were my number one favorite episode. And it's not even because I like this episode as a whole, but there's a moment in it where Ahsoka and I forget the other character's name, but they're together and they've been captured by a group of Mandalorians. And there's this scene where R2 comes and he gives her lightsabers back, and she jumps up and she chops a bunch of heads off all at once. It's so cool. You gotta watch that episode just to see her do that. Just going to show that she's a badass Jedi and character, and she's got so much heart and depth to her. And I know coming out of it, a lot of people didn't like her. A lot of people actually hated Ahsoka right when the series came out and when it got over. But it's cool to see now that a lot of people are starting to like her more. And maybe even it's just realize her potential. Because I do have to say, though, I think a lot of people didn't like her, and a lot of people didn't like the Clone Wars in general, because it was set in that prequel movie territory. And I don't think a lot of people gave it the room to breathe that it needed and gave it a chance. But man, if you watch this show chronologically, it is absolutely fantastic. Now you might be able to understand everything that's going on without watching it chronologically, but I could get into the show because these little bits, I need to watch a show that is story driven, and so that really helped me get into the show watching it in order. Negatives, I'd say, and I'm not going to end on negatives, but I will say, for any of you that might be curious of what I didn't like about the show, I didn't like how they implemented Jar Jar. I felt like they thrown him in just because we know that he's there, and a lot of people are going to, would probably wonder where he went to if they didn't use him. But my main issue with it wasn't just how they used him, but it was there were two different people doing the voice, and the one guy was great, and the other guy wasn't. And I'm not going to say who because I don't want to diss those actors, because I don't want to diss the one. We'll just leave it at that, because I'm sure he does great work in other things and stuff, and I don't want to judge him based on the only thing that I've seen him in. But I didn't like him. I didn't like him as Jar Jar. The other guy was good and more like what I'm used to from the movie, or Attack of the Clones. Another thing I didn't like about it was how this show has two different endings. And these are literally the only two things that I have a problem with. Because what happened with the show kind of basically got canceled, and so they have an ending that aired on TV. But then they had like these 13 more episodes or however many more that they were going to do, but that they weren't able to do. And here's my problem with it. I absolutely adore that last episode of Clone Wars. So then we have these newer episodes that were added from Netflix, which, hey, look, I think it's really cool that Clone Wars got picked up by Netflix, and that Netflix wanted to help finish the series and finish these episodes that they started. Because look, the episodes are great. I love what they did with the clones and the last final episodes, because it brings together stuff that happens in the movies, and it rounds it out, and it makes things make more sense. Here's my issue with it, and I want you guys to listen to me carefully, because I don't want you to think that I'm saying something that I'm not. The Yoda episodes, I did not like the placement of those episodes. I liked those episodes. I did not like that the last Yoda episode was what we were left with, and then going into Revenge of the Sith. Because remember, everything is supposed to be leading into what happens in the movies. All these other things around the movies. You know, the books, the TV shows are all supposed to cater to the movie universe and add to them and give these characters more depth. And so if it's not working for the overall franchise, then it shouldn't be there. I would have much rather have the Yoda episodes be the first 2 episodes of the series, and then we get all the clone stuff, you know, or have the Yoda stuff be what happens at the end of the network series, and have the last episode with Ahsoka be the end of the Netflix series. So I don't have a problem with any of the episodes in of itself of those last ones. It's just the placement. It didn't make sense. Or even if you could do the Yoda episodes in the middle of what's all going on. I don't think that works either because of what's going on story-wise, but that even would have worked better than just kind of putting them there because you want to have a cool episode with Yoda. You have this mythology you want to dig into. If there was mythology that, you know, needed to be delved into, it should have been done at a different point or not at all. And that's just my honest opinion. That's just my opinion. If you disagree with me, then that's totally cool. But that's my overall thoughts of the Clone Wars. I freaking love the series. I definitely recommend it. It's just brilliant. I mean, you know, those 2 things are the only negative things that I can say about it. You know, I mean, I'm sure for some people they probably don't like it not being in chronological order, but that's an easy fix. I was able to do it, and it's really easy to go by, and especially since now it's on Netflix, you know, you can just go to the different things. It's not like you have to put different discs in your player or whatnot and all that. So if it's something that you don't physically own, you can watch the Clone Wars easily and get through it and understand it, and I would highly recommend doing that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of Clone Wars. And obviously I will talk about Ahsoka more when I do my videos for Rebels, but we're going to save that for another time. Alright, so you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for watching, and may the 4th be with you. Peace out.